You're watching Screen Junkies News from San Diego Comic-Con. Brought to you by the new Samsung Chromebook Plus, the first Chromebook made for Google Play.
Yay! What's up, guys? It's Joe Starr with Screen Junkies News. We're back here at Comic-Con in this room that we're very rarely allowed to leave. I'm here with not only one half of the Only Stupid Answers podcast and DJ Woldridge.
I am DJ Woldridge.
But I am here with two halves, which I think makes a whole. I'm not good at math, that's why I do this. With Sam Basher, thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about cool stuff.
We stumbled across you in Hall H. You were hidden under tables.
Yeah, and
I was like, don't look at me. Don't
I
look
saw
at
the
me.
Hey Arnold shirt first.
Yeah.
I did not see Sam. He was just a great-looking Hey Arnold shirt. Well, okay, let's get into it. So we went to the Defenders panel in Hall H. Jeff Loeb was moderating. Some things happened. Some cool Punisher things happened. We're going to get to that after because Jeff Loeb said, hey, we have a Defenders clip. And just so you're aware, this clip is exactly the length of the first episode of Defenders. Oh, Jeff Loeb.
We all peed a little
So
bit.
silly.
Yeah. Oh, you and your hijinks. So let's just get into our life. Okay, yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled for the first episode of Defenders, by the way.
Oops.
Get out of my video! Okay. Here we go. Are you gone?
Yeah.
Are you watching a different Screen Junkies video and not a competing video? Okay. All right, go watch today's Flickbait. Okay, let's talk.
Today's Flickbait was real good.
Thank you, DJ. But let's talk Defenders, guys.
Please.
Let's do it. Okay, so we were told in the panel, Finn Jones said, hey, Iron Fist and Colleen Wing start in a very different place than New York City. They're out there in the world.
Could I tell you what that place is? No, I could not.
I could not. It is a
Dank tunnels.
Oh, I read where they actually are?
Yeah.
The Cambodia.
Okay, so they are.
Cambodia.
See, that's why we asked you to come,
Yeah.
Sam. We were like, 3 heads is better than 1. We just saw a lot of things. We opened with Iron Fist and Colleen Wing trying to protect a guy in the sewers of Cambodia.
Yeah.
And a shadow.
Spacious sewers.
Pretty
Very
sure it's
spacious,
Casey
lot of-
Jones from the TMNT, but
Yeah,
probably,
vibes.
yeah.
So let's just put it on the table real quick, and then we can move on. Finn Jones and I went in with a hard reset. I was like, okay, new show, ready to like Iron Fist.
Some reboot.
Still the weakest part.
Yes.
He is. They definitely go out of their way to protect him on camera now. And I just realized I'm spoiling this whole show for our entire crew. I'm sorry, guys. They definitely, it's a lot of close-up. They're definitely sort of doing some real, like, quick Liam Neeson taken editing to sort of make him look better. So that looks better.
And in the opening fight, he's fighting a cloaked figure, looks feminine, has a sword, probably Elektra.
Yeah, probably electric in some way. So we're assuming it's Elektra. He chases her off with the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
They're told they need to go back.
Punches her in the shadows.
Yeah, punches her right into the shadows.
We gotta say, though, the Iron Fist still looks cool.
The actual
still looks neat.
It's still a cool
looks
effect.
The arm
cool.
throwing it did not throw a good punch.
No, it did
but the
not.
Iron Fist effect looks great.
Didn't know where to put the thumb. No, you gotta know where to put the thumb.
You put the thumb right here and you hit with these two knuckles.
yeah.
Come
You
on,
should've
come
learned that
on.
in
I'm a yellow belt in
Kunlun.
karate. I know that. I'm just a yellow. You're the Iron Fist. So that's sort of our opening.
Yeah, then we get to intro credits, which back to being amazing. It's the streets of New York, all glowy in the shape of the 4 Defenders, getting the color coding right with all of them, like Daredevil's red, Jessica Jones is purple, Luke Cage is yellow, and Iron Fist is green, even though if you watch the intro of Iron Fist, you would think he was blue. And that color scheme actually plays out in the episode because every time we cut to a different story, they make a big deal about having the color be their color.
I gotta say that's probably one of my favorite parts. There's a lot of really good filmmaking in this episode. The colors I love. I'm like, I get it. Like I get what they're doing, but it was a really cool way of making New York, like they kept saying that New York is the 5th Defender.
Very rom-commy.
It made New York feel like this just so diverse place, and I've been there, and it starts to look the same after a while. So I'm glad that the show can make it feel different.
They really went out of their way to, Luke Cage's Harlem looks and feels different than Jessica Jones's part of New York, which feels different than the private helicopter that Iron Fist was on.
Yeah.
Best part of New York.
Yeah, best part of New York. What did we open with after that? There's so many things standing out. I'm trying to go chronologically.
Yeah, each story.
We're not allowed to take notes.
Yeah, is in their kind of like own separate pocket. So we have with Daredevil, we open with him having a court case that's amazing.
Yes.
It's really cool. We see him, he's printing out notes in Braille to go into the case, and he like hears sirens. He's like, no, I'm not gonna
do it.
I'm not gonna do
Left that life behind.
Don't do it.
I'm not the devil anymore.
And the best court case any Daredevil has done on TV, where he's defending this kid that's in a wheelchair due to like corporate negligence.
Have we even been in a courtroom yet? Like, I feel like it's always been interrogation, and they're like, thank God we won that case, or we lost that
with
case.
Punisher, the court case for Punisher.
true.
Yeah,
the
the
court
case
case,
for Punisher.
he completely Foggy carried that one.
Yes, he did.
But this was great because it just jumps into big, amazing final statement.
Yeah.
And then we get
nice
to
roving camera. You see everybody.
I think it was one take too.
Yeah,
I think
parts of it.
it
was long takes. Yeah.
everything felt like one. I'm still sort of overwhelmed that they showed it to us. Everything just felt like one amazing take.
Yeah.
The whole show shot like Birdman. That's not true. So then we get. This was. I think this was your favorite part of the episode.
Yeah.
It was mine. I don't know about you, Basher. So he's doing this negligence case. This kid got sick due to corporate negligence. He can't walk anymore. He's in a wheelchair, and you can kind of tell the kid's parents are sort of these like spotlight hogs, and they run off to talk to the press afterwards, and the kid's just standing there.
Well, not
with
standing there.
well,
sitting.
Yeah. I mean,
the kid is
yeah.
sitting in
The kid
his
is there.
wheelchair.
This has got to be factual.
Left alone. Yeah, thank you. That's why I asked you guys to join me. Charlie Cox is Daredevil. Matt Murdock is standing with him, and he gives this kid just this amazing speech about how it could be easy to just put a smile on your face and sort of BS through the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But like the better and easier path is to just kind of let everybody see your anger, bare your teeth, and take your life back.
Yeah, I love that.
Such a good scene. It might be my favorite scene in any of the Defender series leading up that don't involve hallway fighting.
Yeah, right.
Always a good hallway fight.
Yeah, it's good because it gives you a clear sense. This pilot does a really good job of giving you a clear sense of where all the characters are, and that shows a lot about how Matt Murdock works. And I think it's very obvious that this is coming from the showrunner that did Daredevil, because I feel like of all of them, Daredevil's the one that clicked the most. Like they just get Matt Murdock, and that scene really like cemented his perspective on reality of like, if you want something, nobody's gonna give it to you. You gotta take it.
Yes. So let's go by character, because the episode is a lot of place setting. So it's a lot of here's Matt, here's Jessica, here's Luke, here's Danny. Here's Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
So let's just go. Let's go the Matt Murdock road. So
from there we go to Karen, and you get to see a reunion with them, and because she was mainly Punisher's sidekick a little bit in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see them together, and I had forgotten that Daredevil, or Matt, had told her about Daredevil, which is really cool.
Didn't go over great, apparently.
No, it did not. But I appreciate, like, there was like this really cool respect that they had for one another, which I appreciated. And Matt did a lot more of pretending to be blind in this episode, which he really never did. At least I don't remember anything memorable, which I found it kind of charming.
Yeah, we also get Matt visiting his priest friends, doing another confessional. It's been 3 days. He's been slacking off on the confessions.
Bad Catholic.
Got to stay on top of it. And he was talking about how he told her he didn't want to be. He told Karen he didn't want to be Daredevil anymore. And he's like, "That was a lie."
That was a lie.
I kind of wish I was still doing it.
Yeah. So the priest.
Surprise.
The priest talks to him about Elektra a little bit, which was sort of weird.
Which is one of those like, what do you do tell this priest pretty much everything.
Yeah,
like, he's
but
in
it
on
was kind of funny because halfway through the conversation, the priest is like, "Okay, I'm tired of talking in code words with you about your like side gig." So he's like, "Hey, do you miss Elektra?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." That's all the Matt we got
before the big finale that kind of is the uniting incident.
And we'll finale at the end.
But speaking of Matt, we get one of his side characters showing up in another character story, which is why everybody loves these crossover things, because you want to see not only these characters interact, but their respective supporting players interact. So last we saw Luke Cage, he was in prison. I was wondering how they're gonna possibly get him out. Turns out only took 2 minutes of screen. 2 minutes of screen time.
I was expecting like a breakout scene or something like
that
Jessica Jones like
great.
punching down a wall. I was like, nah, it's just legal stuff.
No, the economy of play setting in this pilot is honestly pretty brilliant, because that was one of the questions we had when I think we did a review of the first Defenders trailer. We were like, how's he get out? And it turns out
Nelson does some legal voodoo. And
he
gets
is
him
walked out, breaks those handcuffs, and is legally escorted out of jail to a standing ovation from from the inmates who apparently adore him.
That was
They
a great
love
scene.
him. And also, he didn't just break them; he balled up his
Yeah,
handcuffs
him
and
in.
put them in his hand.
It's a great setup because the guard that's trying to get the keys is trying to like fumble him with him. Luke Cage is like, I'm tired of this, and just snaps him, balls him up, and basically throws him at the guy and is like, peace out, I'm out of
it's
here.
great.
You kind of got three crossovers there because Foggy's now part of Hogarth's law group. But also, so you got little Jessica Jones, you got a little Foggy, and you got a little Luke Cage already.
Yeah, and
right in the beginning.
Another great line where Luke Cage is leaving, and they're like, "Oh, Foggy's like, they call me Foggy," and he's like, Luke Cage is like, "You let him?
You let them?
I was like,
you
"That's good."
have terrible friends.
Yeah,
It's not a good. It's not a good.
it's not a good
nickname.
nickname. No.
We move on to he's on the bus. He crosses the bridge. He's back in Harlem, and he hits up Night Nurse Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson, Claire Temple, immediately, and of course,
But really quick, Jeff Loeb made it very clear that we weren't. We were encouraged to not swear.
Yes.
In the panel, like,
Yeah.
we got excited.
and that's been a big thing
Yeah.
this whole week in Hall H. They're like, there's a lot of kids here, guys, so
Yeah,
can
so
we
cool
like
it.
cool it?
And
And
Jeff
then-
Loeb was like, maybe if you're a kid, maybe you should not be here. And,
Oh, no, it was flipped. He's like, if you swear, you should get out of here.
yeah.
And then
we had the scene that was not the ungraphic sex scene. I mean, you don't really see anything, but a lot of it.
You know how
Lots
Luke calls it getting
destroyed.
coffee?
Yeah.
This was like getting the coffee and then smashing the cup in your hand and then just like hitting someone in the face with it.
That's a graphic metaphor that I think applies. I think it's appropriate. I think
Yeah.
it's an appropriate
they
metaphor.
wrecked her
They are,
apartment.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are happy to see each other.
Understandably.
Understandably,
Yeah.
he's been on the inside.
Yeah.
And she's been writing to him. I forgot
That's
about
sweet.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been writing him letters.
Yeah, very
She's been
sweet.
plagiarizing song lyrics and passing them off as her own poetry. That was a nice
Classic.
little character moment.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like Claire Temple has to do too much Phil Coulson work for this
Yeah,
universe.
that's true.
And it was nice to see like some really solid like character work. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
that
yeah.
was really cool. Just
I
those
agree
little
with that.
moments where
She's
she's like,
human.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then,
He's like, I know those are Ashanti lyrics. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah.
And then moment ruined. Knock at the door. Misty Knight's there.
Yeah.
with
I
her,
love
with her dope
Misty.
hair from the end of Luke Cage, and so they do a walk around town. Why? Exposition. You know, you have to set the scene a little bit. So we find out that kids, right, have been vanishing from Harlem or dying mysteriously due to mysterious work.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
not before them somehow getting a hold of a lot of money.
Yeah.
And using it in good ways, but they're still, no one knows what they're doing to
And
get it.
if the unluckiest family in New York, a young girl was killed at the end of Luke Cage because of information she had. Turns out her brother is one of the people that died, and now there's only one brother
Under
left.
mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, because the Netflix shows apparently hate that family.
Yes. Well, and here's something I love about in the setup. They sort of described it as they took a bunch of different puzzles. They put them all in a box, shook it up, dumped it all out in the lap of the showrunner, and then took away the box so he couldn't see what they now formed, and were like, put this together. This is something I loved about sort of how these shows connect, because kids going wrong in Harlem is the most Luke Cage like premise. And I
Yeah.
love how it's gonna fit into this grander picture. They couldn't get more like Luke Cage Harlem Problem if like the rec center had been in trouble.
And
It
there's
just,
a-
you know,
right?
it just
And
feels
then-
so appropriate.
And there's a
I
moment.
love that everyone knows him. Everyone
Yeah.
knows Luke Cage is Luke Cage,
Yeah.
and they respect him for it. Especially the best reaction, besides everyone give him a nod, like
Yeah.
in the street, is when the kids stop what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's upstairs.
Yeah, because he's looking for the third brother to
The third
kind of like
brother.
steer. Mercedes is like, hey, Misty Knight is like, hey, steer him the right way, right?
Yeah.
And he goes to mentor that kid, and they have a cool scene, just kind of again a little bit more character work about what his modus operandi is and what he's trying to do for the community.
Yeah. And a lot of really smart storytelling here too, where obviously this kid's doing some things on the down low, whether it's connected to the hand or whatever, but it's just a real quick glance from Luke Cage, and he sees a wall of new sneakers, and it's like, so you're doing well for yourself. And
Yeah.
instead of like, I see you've come into some money. You could, it's just a real quick look. You see the shoes, and obviously this kid's in trouble. They have sort of a cool one-on-one.
Yeah.
Luke Cage heads out.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, the moment when he's going to head out with Misty and he throws on that yellow shirt, it gave me a little flutter, because it's like, oh, it's Luke Cage, man. Like, it's so cool.
During the interviews before the whole show started, we like mentioned it, and you'd mentioned it, Joe, but it's just like, that he's huge.
Yeah,
he's
he's a
giant man.
I want to
Yeah.
give him a hug.
Yeah.
It was- feel safe.
We were at the Netflix Death Note and Bright panel, and Terry Crews moderated it, and I'm not sure which one of those men is bigger.
Yeah, I'd like to see them arm wrestle.
Yeah, I would. I want to see them arm wrestle, and also maybe just watch them have lunch together.
Yeah,
yeah, just see
have
the
a fun
two of them
conversation.
hang out.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Each other.
Let's talk Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica is still a hot mess.
Yep.
My other favorite moment is when she's trying to get in the elevator and the door starts to close and like knocks her coffee out of her hand. I'm like, that's great. That's a great, just humanizing moment for her.
But we start out, she's in the bar, she's waking up, it's already 10 a.m. or something like that, and she runs into Trish, and I forgot how much I miss Trish.
Trish is great.
AKA Hellcat.
And they're doing such a good job of merging all of the, it's just really going seamlessly. It doesn't feel pandering. It's good. I don't really know how else to explain it except that it's just very smooth how they're incorporating all of these characters.
Question: if a cop is trying to tow your car and your friend just rips the car away, that car is still towed technically, right? Like
you still probably have a ticket.
I think it depends on which borough you're in New York. They're all different,
so she comes out to Trish, and Trish's car is being towed, and again trying to do things seamlessly. In case this is the first Netflix show you're watching, the Defenders show you're watching, which why? We established that Jessica has strength because she yanks the car off the tow truck, which also I feel like would do damage to the car. We're a little ambiguous on the logistics of yanking the car off of the tow
rest
truck.
of this episode will be about us talking about can you pull a car off of a tow truck.
We're gonna go try it.
And so then she comes back to her apartment / office where mom and her petulant teenage daughter, which why the mom brought her along, I'm unsure.
Teens, right?
Where she's like, my husband left, and Jessica's like, he's cheating on you. You need to let this go.
Yeah, which is a very Jessica Jones answer.
Yeah.
They leave, and she immediately gets a voice scrambled phone call that's like, "Don't look for this guy,"
Yeah,
which is a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, unless you want her to. It's like,
I'm assuming someone wants Jessica Jones. She's gonna be used.
I'd like to think the mom, once she got in the elevator, was like, looks at her daughter like, watch this. No, and the daughter has an app. Is like, watch this. Don't look into my dad.
Yeah. So of course she starts looking.
Yeah.
Her sidekick by the end of the movie just lost his name.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
There's a lot of characters.
So many
Very
things
likable.
just happened.
Yeah.
I apologize. My notes look like a crazy person wrote a kidnap letter. So I apologize. He shows up. It doesn't seem like, because at the end of Jessica Jones, it seemed like they had really moved forward. It was like, hey, Jessica Jones investigations. You know, here we go. Alias investigations.
Investigations,
I apologize. My apologies to Brian Michael Bendis. It's Alias investigations. It doesn't. There must have been a bump in the road because the apartment is wrecked again. She doesn't want him around.
I don't know if the apartment was ever fixed.
I think
from
that
the
looks
last.
Well, the door's not even fixed anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe that happened again, but the whole wall, that looks like what Nuke did.
Yeah, that fight with Nuke, the whole place was. They got it all fixed up.
His name
nice
was Nuke.
Nuke, and then they wreck it again.
But she's still not. She's not happy he's around. So obviously this alias, she fell again. This alias thing is not happening. But regardless, her curiosity's up. She tracks this guy to a heroin den on the tip of her sidekick, whose name I can't remember. Please let me know in the comments.
Oh, they will.
And don't call me a cuck. A name unremembering cuck. She goes and checks this place out, and that she discovers a lot of explosives.
Oh yeah, like I love her reaction to the explosives.
Yeah, she just goes.
That would like. By the end of the episode, I thought that was what was doing it.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Not spoilers.
So we're gonna so you don't get the whole sort of what's going on.
Yeah,
but let's
kind of like the last end bit a little bit ambiguous for you guys.
Yeah.
So something to look forward to.
So let's talk. Who do we have left?
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist and then Sigourney Weaver.
Okay, so let's go Iron Fist.
Let's just get through Iron
Sigourney.
Fist. He
Really
still doesn't
quick.
like flying on planes.
No, yeah, it's you got it.
Yeah.
And he's guilty.
That's kind of it. He feels bad that he did a terrible thing.
Something that happened in Kunlun,
Well, he had a
or
vision
maybe
of every.
it didn't. Like it's
Yeah.
not clear.
Yeah, classic
but
vision
he's
of
got
every-
a lot of guilt.
He's got a lot of guilt. He's assuming everybody in Kunlun's dead. Best part about Iron Fist is in his fight with probably Elektra. She does a slash through his dragon, which was a great visual of his perception of himself as Iron Fist. That was it.
Yeah, it was a very, very clever
He
visual.
probably leaned into it.
I think they did. They're still not doing the character any. I'm not talking about performance anymore. They're still not doing the character any favors because we never saw the city or the people aside from some sort of hallucinations and some small flashback stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't have a connection. Like I don't care.
Also,
Like I don't have a
Me
personal
neither.
connection to all these people being slaughtered, and And so I'm not like, oh man, how could you leave? You know, how could you leave Bill and Dave?
Yeah,
and
right. And
Kim?
also, it's hard to build a connection with a character that his only scenes are in a private jet,
Yes.
and then a private helicopter, and it's like, yeah.
But love seeing Colleen Wing.
Yeah,
I'm really
yeah,
excited.
Colleen's always a breath of fresh air.
And let's also say that there's a lot of Colleen Wing, and she's definitely Defender level status in terms of screen time.
Yeah, I'm
because
hoping
he is never on screen without her.
Ouch!
Yeah.
Actually, during the panel, they're like, "New York is the 5th Defender." It's like,
No, Colleen Wing was the
Wing.
fifth
I don't know if
Defender,
she's on the
according to the
panel and
pilot.
she's in a
Yeah.
majority of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I'm kind of hoping that characters like Colleen Wing, Misty Knight, and Claire Temple are kind of basically Defenders in the show because they really should be.
I think that's what we're gonna get.
Yeah, and it helps flesh out the team. I just think it makes everything better.
Yeah.
having
Agreed.
more involved. Do we want to go to Sigourney Weaver's Alexandra? Right, that's what we're calling her.
Alexandra, yes.
because
So, yeah,
that's going to be
so
revealed to be something else.
Not a lot going on with Danny. We know that he's been hunting the Hand. We know
Yeah.
that he's been recalled to New York City. We know that he's having a lot of nightmares.
Yeah.
And he's very, very rich.
Yeah.
like stupidly.
Like,
Yeah,
stupidly
he could,
rich.
he could afford a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to therapy, man.
Yeah.
If anyone needs therapy, go to therapy.
Yeah.
So speaking of therapy, let's talk Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, she's amazing. She gets a lot of exposition in this episode.
She was introduced as the First Lady of Hollywood at the panel, and rightfully so.
Yeah, standing ovation,
Standing
well
ovation.
deserved.
She's incredible.
Sam, you got thoughts. I see it on your face.
It just, Danny had some of the poorer writing, like his lines, and so did Sigourney. Until the end, when you kind of like, okay, she had to literally explain
Yes.
her
Yeah.
motivation for this
Yes.
entire series in the beginning.
They gave her a lot of scene setting.
Which we don't have to, I won't say, but it's just like she's literally like, no. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what she'll be doing.
Yeah.
There's not even a question about it. And
Yeah.
but after that, there's still some mysteries. We get to see
Madame Gao.
Madame Gao, which
Yes,
is amazing.
Madame
Yeah,
Gao.
and then apparently there's a spot that Madame Gao loves to do her scheming in. She did her scheming there with Wilson Fisk. It's that roof that was also in Spider-Man. That's Madame Gao's go-to
But
scheming
this
spot.
was actually really fun, and I think this is kind of one of the last things we'll touch on. We don't want to spoil everything in the first episode for you guys. But my favorite thing about Madame Gao's rooftop is,
that is beautiful.
well, it's beautiful, but she was not the one doing the waiting. That was Sigourney Weaver's rooftop. The moment
Yeah.
she was on it, Madame Gao was summoned to her in Madame Gao's own backyard, which I thought was just such a cool touch.
Yeah, and also I like that even though Sigourney Weaver was doing a lot of heavy lifting expositionally, she still killed it, and she still had immense presence, and I'm still very intimidated by her.
And everyone will be cosplaying in the jacket she's wearing.
That amazing weird one piece.
Yes.
It's like it starts over here and then wraps around like twice.
Yeah,
to be put on.
We've also talked about, and she was a part of the panel, and we've known she's going to be part of the series for a while. That it was, we assume it was Elektra in the beginning. Sigourney Weaver's character has a conversation with Elektra where it's heavily implied that perhaps her character has been around for longer than usual. That perhaps she's verging on immortal territory, and maybe she's seen some things, which what we know with the Hand is not necessarily surprising.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested. This definitely feels like one of those things where it's like, her name's Alexandra until episode 7.
Yeah, it seems like it might be one of those things.
Yeah.
We're going to leave the last few minutes for you guys to see. I don't want to spoil the entire episode.
I will say, if you're going into the premiere expecting all the characters to meet up by the end of the premiere, don't expect
They
that.
will not. They will not.
However, there are you see how the gears are set in motion for that to happen.
Yeah.
Don't even expect it till the end of the season. It might even happen in season 2. We have no idea
Yeah.
if they'll even meet. We have no idea.
That's a mean thing to say, Sam Basher, I think.
But we did
overall
get a,
thoughts.
It was incredible. Like not even like I'm sure that the surprise of it happening probably added to my enjoyment.
Yeah, asterisks
squealed a
to our
little bit.
excitement.
I mean, how could you not? Like
Yeah.
it was cool.
we all have Hall H Sheen, so
It was so cool.
grain of salt, I guess.
But also, there is going to be another trailer for Defenders coming out soon, which we don't have to talk about, but like that is public.
They
Yeah.
did. They showed a
So-
second trailer. I'm sure they'll drop that soon, and
That
shows
was
a lot
great.
of cool
It shows
stuff.
a lot. It shows
And
a lot
it's a
of
better trailer than the first one that they
Agreed,
Yeah,
put out.
agreed.
absolutely.
You get a better sense of their dynamic. You get a better sense of what they're fighting against. You get a better sense of the action, which looks amazing.
And humor. There's
Yeah,
a lot of humor
of
in this.
humor.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed this pilot. It reminded me of a lot of the best of these Netflix shows. It's great.
Yeah.
These are my favorite MCU characters. So seeing them finally connect or reconnect in cases like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, I'm very excited to see where it goes. It has, even though there's a little bit of that first episode wonkiness, it reminds me of shows like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Daredevil season 2, where you can sense that like this is gonna go someplace really cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
and quickly. Like they were not taking their time. They're really moving. It doesn't feel rushed, but they're definitely getting you to the fireworks factory because it's a smaller season. So let's talk about the panel a little bit.
What was your thoughts on the pilot?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I did. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Out the gate, I was like, okay, they're doing their best to sort of fix Iron Fist. And sorry, I don't mean to harp on it because I don't want that to be the whole conversation to the video.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was really cool, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see sort of him and Colleen sort of crash into everybody else. I think it's going to be neat. Let's talk panel, because one of the cool things that didn't involve footage or clips or anything like that was Jeff Loeb moderated, the head of Marvel Television.
Very cool.
And he's got a long
comics
history in
legend.
comics,
he was awarded, he did not see this coming. He was just sort of riffing with the audience and kind of doing a bit. And old Eddie, who is the head of programming for Comic-Con, who sort of moderates Hall H, sorry guys, I can't see what you just showed me. My contacts aren't working. I apologize.
Yeah, he received.
Get a marker.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. They presented they surprised Jeff Loeb with with an Inkpot award.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. Steven Spielberg gets these.
Yeah, it was a lovely moment, and tears were shed. And
grown men cried, which sort of made all of us go, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I barely know about Jeff Loeb, but I'm like, good for you, man.
Good for
You
you.
earned it.
Yeah.
But I think what everybody's excited for us to get to and talk about now that we've talked about the pilot is
just the small talk on the panel.
Yeah, you do. It's a lot of beautiful people on that panel. No, I think
let's close with that. But I'm just sorry. I'm just scrolling through this. So it was confirmed. Season 2, Iron Fist.
Yeah.
It's confirmed. Misty Knight will be a big part of that. That's where we're going. And I will say, Jeff Loeb sort of talked to everyone down, sort of getting them a question to sort of set them up. And I appreciated this from Finn Jones. Jeff Loeb said, hey, Iron Fist was sort of your coming out party, right? And Finn Jones just laughed. Like, he's aware. Like, he gets it.
He seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude. And I agree with what you said. I wish they just let him use his accent as Daniel Rand. He's very charming.
He's very charming when he's British.
And also they said that, like, The Defenders is, like, the finishing of his first arc. And it's you had 13 episodes.
But guys, so let's talk John Berthel coming out. And just saying, hey, can I show stuff? You said we could show stuff. They showed these fantastic Punisher clips. Guys, let's get in.
It feels like the intro to the first episode, like the way
it very definitely could be.
And if it is, that's amazing. But should we get into specifics of what we saw?
Yeah, let's do it.
So.
Well, it opens with him playing guitar with his daughter, and then it cuts to him alone in a room playing, and so it's just like before and after, and you see like, this man was slightly stable. Like, he was happy. His life was okay.
It's beautifully cut together.
It is, and I don't know what the song is. It sounds like a popular song. I couldn't figure out what it was.
It felt Johnny Cashy.
Probably.
It wasn't, but that's kind of the
the vibe. You get it.
It's kind of the vibe.
Yeah.
But he leaves and he goes off to do punishing.
He starts punishing.
It's amazing because props to these shows for finding the real emotional heart to a character that typically is not given. Like his backstory lends itself to it, but like all the movies just kind of like, oh, I guess the killing. And these shows really emphasize. The man.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think all the past Punishers tell you why you should empathize with the Punisher, but they've done such a good job, and his performance is so good at just showing you.
And also showing you how not right in the head he is. He's a really damaged individual.
And we see it in the first clip. He's in Alabama. He's in the middle of nowhere in Alabama. He's in the van. And he's chasing these bikers.
Picking up the pieces of season 2 of Punisher. So it was the biker gang and then the cartel, and I guess the Kitchen Irish were basically done by Daredevil.
By the end of it. So he's going after the bikers. They're shooting at him, and he's got a shotgun just sitting on his side view mirror. He shoots them. He shoots the wheels. The guys go down, and he moves the van so that he runs over the dudes. And he gives this great moment. It's just this real simple kind of like sigh, and you just see that it hurts that he's doing this.
Yeah.
Part of him hates it. You
Yeah.
can kind of tell, and he's very conflicted. It
But
was
let's
a great
not
shot.
forget, he cocks the shotgun on the side view mirror
It's
of
so
the
good.
van.
It
like
is
he's just-
almost as cool as when people do the single
It
hand.
is, it
cock.
is finally an update to the Sarah Connor shotgun.
Yeah. So he takes out those bikers, and that's satisfying. But the next one is impressive.
Do you remember in Daredevil season 2, he did the penny and dime, whatever
Yeah.
the nursery rhyme was, and at first you're like, this is ridiculous, and then you explain it, and you're like, all right, it's tragic, and then he
Yeah.
did it again. I'm like, it's cool, but also depressed.
Yeah, depressed immediately. But after taking care of the bikers, you see what are cartel people in, I believe it's Juarez.
In Mexico.
Yeah, in Mexico. And you cut to, like, they're partying, it's loud, and then
It's
you
a
cut
cartel
to...
party.
Yeah.
You guys.
You get it. And they cut to it, and to Punisher with a sniper rifle, and it's just silence.
Yeah. You see the cartel party through the scope. There's no sound. It's really cool. One of the guys is getting down with some cartel ladies, as you do at a cartel
also
party.
little kids maybe shouldn't have been in the
Yeah,
audience.
again, little kids. And you hear we're gonna wrap up here. We just got a little bit more to get through. You hear the roar of this sniper rifle going off. And there's a pause, and then the guy's just head explodes. It's fantastic.
But then
It's insane.
my favorite moment is they pull all the way out, and then because they give these title cards of where he is each time, and he's across the border in Texas.
In
so
El
he sniped,
Paso.
yeah, in El
El Paso.
Paso. He sniped this guy from Texas.
It's incredible.
It's
There's at
pretty great.
least, like, I remember, like, when he pulls the trigger, I'm like, is this like a fake out? Is he shooting somebody
Yeah,
else?
it's like-
No.
no,
It
it's
took
just-
like 5 seconds for the bullet to
Yeah.
hit. And like,
Yeah, it's
that's
great.
terrifying.
Yeah, and
So
then
we then cut to an airport. He
Yeah.
corners this last guy that apparently he needs to get in a
Yeah.
bathroom stall. Basically, because we've got to get going. But the guy says, this won't bring your kids back, and he's just kind of like, I know. And he's
Yeah.
like, what will this change? And he's like, nothing. And then he just starts choking the guy to death with his tie. There's 2 other guys washing their hands, and they look over and they just hear moans and gurgles and just see these 2 feet, and they're just like, dude, get a room. That's not appropriate. And they leave, and the guy dies.
Guy's
Punisher
super dead.
in the skull, by the way.
Yeah.
Zips up the hoodie over the skull. It was great.
Awesome skull. That's a bulletproof vest, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you get into an airport with a bulletproof
Great
vest
question.
on?
Very
Great
great question.
We'll
that
have to
I'm
watch the
sure
series to find
we'll
out.
Have to, we'll have to watch the series. Guys, overall feel on the panel, and we'll get on out of here.
Incredible. Can't
Yeah.
wait for Punisher because that's next year. Or
no,
is
I
that-
believe that's later this year,
Oh my
after
goodness.
Defenders. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's insane. I can't wait for. Not only will Defenders like blow our minds,
Yeah.
Punishers. We might need to go to therapy after because it might be too violent.
It looks like Punisher is hitting all the notes that a Punisher show should hit, because there's a lot of deep pathos while also being like heavy metal, like insanity. So I'm excited to see if they're able to keep that balance. First episode of Defenders got me very excited.
Yeah, and again, grain of salt. We got that Hall 8 sheen all over us. It's hard not to get excited in there. But the first episode of Defenders was cool. The Punisher clip still might have stolen the show, though.
Yeah.
It was so cool. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments. What do you want to see from the Defenders? What do you want to see from the Punisher? Stay with us with Screen Junkies News for the rest of the weekend. If you're in town, we'll see you tonight at our panel at 6DE, or hopefully we'll see you at Screen Junkies Central. Only stupid answers in the house. Sam, DJ, guys, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having me,
Yes.
and thank you for Iron Fist Season 2. I can't wait to revisit that world.
Yeah. Thanks for taking us out on that, Sam. Guys, we'll see you later. Be nice.
Bye-bye.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, the new Samsung Chromebook Plus, for sponsoring today's episode.